are Pro Cannabis Media.
Welcome back to the B Block, or second section of Weed Talk News. I'm Alaina Pinto. Las Vegas, Planet 13, is fast becoming a multi-state operator in the cannabis world. They continue to expand their footprint, and Tina Tasaka keeps her eye on all that is going on in Nevada.
I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies, and this is the Nevada Report for Weed Talk News. Great news for Nevada dispensaries and the cannabis market. Nevada has secured the third spot in retail cannabis sales per dispensary through the second quarter of 2024, according to the latest U.S. market report from LeafLink, a leading national wholesale cannabis platform. Overall, Nevada dispensaries have experienced a 7% growth in the sales during the first half of the year, with average monthly sales reaching $450,000. Is there a future of cannabis use at Las Vegas casinos? Well, don't get too excited. It's illegal to smoke or consume cannabis products in Nevada casinos, but marijuana use on the resort corridor is still prevalent. Ask anyone in Vegas or anyone that just went to Las Vegas, they will tell you, I smell weed everywhere. That's true. Legal recreational marijuana sales launched here in 2017, but a federal ban on the product still exists, forcing or regulating casinos to ban cannabis on their premises. During a panel this week hosted by UNLV's Cannabis Policy Institute, Clark County Commissioner Tick Sigerbloom said, "Why don't we allow it? I mean, we're the Sin City. We're the place that does all this stuff. If we do it right now, we can be the new Amsterdam." Tick also commented, quote, "That's the best irony in this whole thing, is that it's already happening everywhere. Both incidents, gaming and marijuana, are happening together separately, but all over everywhere. So we're talking about an imaginary line," unquote. Sigerbloom thinks that the integration of cannabis within the gaming industry is inevitable, and said it would be a perfect integration to entertainment, which casinos already provide. Stay tuned for more, as I will continue to report on gaming and cannabis in the Silver State. Planet 13, the massive 112,000 square foot entertainment complex, has partnered with Grammy and Gold Globe nominated artist Wiz Khalifa's Khalifa Kush to cultivate, manufacture, and sell Khalifa Kush premium products at the world's largest dispensary just off the Las Vegas Strip. That's it for the 702. I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies and Weed Talk News.
For the most part, it's been a quiet week in Washington, D.C. Well, next week is the Democratic National Convention, and expect to hear Kamala Harris's plan for legalization as part of the platform. Whether you support that party or Republicans, the fact is the Democrats are first major political party to offer cannabis legalization. And Andrew Barringer is our man in our nation's capital, where Congress got some advice about how to regulate hemp from members of the alcohol industry. Here's Andrew's report. There's a new country that is taking up a cannabis legalization initiative in their governing body. It's the Philippines. The Southeast Asian country's House of Representatives voted overwhelmingly in favor of legalizing medical cannabis this week. The final count of that vote was 177 for, 9 votes against, and 9 abstained. That bill now goes to the Philippine Senate, where it will undergo another vote before it heads to their president. There's been a change at the top, though, of one of Canada's most well-known cannabis companies, Canopy Growth. David Klein, their most recent CEO, is going to retire at the end of this year. And Debi Facey has more from our cannabis-friendly neighbors up north.
This is Debi Facey with your Canadian Strain of the Week. So what we have this week in Canada is our David Klein, which is the CEO from Cannabis Growth, is going to be retiring at the end of March 2025. So at this point in time, Cannabis Growth is looking for replacements, but obviously that is not to be filled for the position until the end of March, beginning of April. Next, what we have is Tilray entering the brewing in section. So they have signed on an agreement with Molson Canadian or Molson Coors in order to create some sort of infusion of both cannabis and beer. Let's see how that works out. Fingers crossed. They are both part of the Fam Jam, so let's just see if the Cannabis family really does infuse well enough. Next, what we have is Dr. Ron DeSantis from the California governor has blamed the unsuccessful rollout of the cannabis industry in cannabis culture, I should say, out in Florida. This is due to the fact that most of our stock listings that we do have connected to the States and Canada aren't showing any sort of potential rise in benefits for them. So we are kind of being blamed for that. But I do hope that you guys know that we don't try. We're actually trying pretty hard. We want everyone to be successful. But that is unfortunately what we are hearing from Dr. DeSantis here in Canada. And last but not least, what we have is the finding of a property such as property by the name of hexahydrocannabinol, which is HHC. It is semi-synthetic cannabinol. This is something that they are finding within some of our cannabis oil products, which are creating foul products and harming users and consumers. This is something that the regulations are jumping on, trying to figure out exactly how this is happening and how the traces are. So I will make sure to keep you guys posted. But that being said, please make sure you guys are all storing all of your oils as properly as possible, just so there is no way for any of your oils to form and to deteriorate into another sort of cannabinoid. This is Debi Facey with the Cannabis Strain of the Week. Peace.
I'm Doug Miller from Highland Wall Street with this week's Cannabis Stock Report for Weed Talk News. MSOs are setting up for a high-risk fight with the IRS over 280E tax code. The first company to declare freedom from 280E was Trulieve. Then Ascend Wellness, TerraAscend, Curaleaf, and Cresco Labs, they all stated that 280E no longer applied to them. Section 280E says no deduction or credit shall be allowed for costs incurred during the trafficking in controlled substances within the meaning of Scheduled 1 and 2 of the Controlled Substance Act. Freedom from 280E is expected once the Biden administration proposal to move marijuana to Schedule 3 is finalized. Until then, the IRS has made its position clear. Taxpayers seeking a refund of taxes paid related to IRS Code 280E by filing amended returns are not entitled to a refund or payment, the IRS said in June. Although the law has not changed, some taxpayers are filing amended returns, the agency said. The grounds for filing such claims vary, but these claims are not valid. I guess we will see how this turns out, but it could end up being a costly mistake by these MSOs. And that's this week's Cannabis Stock Report. Reporting for Weed Talk News, I'm Doug Miller.
Lab test results, regulation fees, host fees, excise taxes, all are part of a running retail cannabis dispensary. And the mantra now is to survive and thrive. And everyone can relate to that. We all know that interstate commerce is still illegal in the country, but now the illegal transport of cannabis across state lines is getting more and more prevalent, especially when you have new states coming on board with limited supply. This is how out-of-state product ends up in legal states. And is the industry getting away with this? Well, as Marianne Cursetjee tells us, it might be more prevalent than you think.
I'm Marianne from Alibi with this week's Oregon Cannabis Report for Weed Talk News. Last week, spirits were high and chips were down as the cannabis industry came together for a day of poker playing. It was a fabulous event, as always, hosted by Ryan at Cosmic Treehouse. This event draws players far and wide and is welcoming to newcomers. Join the next poker tournament this coming winter. Next, Oregon again is in national news, this time related to illegal exports to Michigan. A lawsuit against a Michigan processor was filed this week, alleging that they were illegally importing cannabis product from Oregon and bringing it into the regulated market in Michigan. And finally, this week, after a year-long investigation, arrests were made in a string of burglaries targeting cannabis farms in Southern Oregon. The suspects accumulated a total of 65 charges. 3 suspects were arrested. That's the Oregon Cannabis Report for this week. I'm Marianne with Alibi for Weed Talk News.
While many state cannabis companies are struggling to make payroll, pay their bills, and wonder whatever happened to the green rush, Arizona continues to grow. In fact, it is slowly solidifying its place as a successful industry. Here's Karen Black with more in her Arizona Cannabis Report.
I'm Karen Black from Greenfinger Consulting with the Arizona Cannabis Report for Weed Talk News. First, some business news. Sonoran Roots in Tempe, Arizona, made the Inc. 5000 list of the nation's fastest growing private companies. The vertically integrated craft cannabis company came in at number 949 in the health products category with a reported 536% year-over-year growth. Pretty impressive. Phoenix-based Forefront Ventures released its second quarter results, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. The company saw revenues drop to $18.7 million, down about 31% from the same time last year. But it's not all doom and gloom. They've managed to shrink their net loss to $4.9 million, which is a significant improvement over last year's $11.5 million loss. Despite these challenges, Forefront is pushing ahead with expansion plans in Illinois. They're opening new dispensaries and even have a craft grow in the works. Still, the company's cash situation is looking pretty tight with just $2.4 million in the bank. Forefront also converted a chunk of their debt into equity, issuing 245 million new shares. That's helped lighten their debt load, but it's also diluted existing shareholders quite a bit. The bottom line, Forefront's expansion plans show confidence, but with revenues down and cash tight, they'll need to navigate carefully in the coming months. As for other news, cannabis event company Deep Stories kicks off its annual members-only pregame event series August 20th with a backyard barbecue. There's a Taco Tuesday scheduled for September and a Halloween bash in October. The historic Corona Ranch in Levine Village is home to all 3 events. Nature's Wonder opened another dispensary, this one in Coolidge, Arizona. The Apache Junction-based company now has 5 stores in the Phoenix metro area. Cannabis quencher drinks will soon be available in the Grand Canyon state. The California-based brand offers a variety of cannabis-infused beverages with THC and CBD options, and both. CQ drinks will be on the shelves at select Arizona dispensaries later this month. That's all for this week's Arizona Cannabis Report. I'm Karen Black from Greenfinger Consulting reporting for Weed Talk News.
That'll do it for the B block of Weed Talk News, but don't go anywhere because we still have news from Florida, and you won't believe what their governor said about his state's largest medical business. Plus, the story about a new dispensary in Connecticut that is causing quite a stir in Norwalk. Weed Talk News continues after this.